Hello, Real to Real Talk, friends, fans, and family. I am one of the hosts, Paul Britton here. Unfortunately, our friend Sergio is not going to be able to make it tonight. And also, unfortunately, we don't get Kristen back either. But we knew that the Sergio missing is the bigger news, and he said, just go ahead and get it out there because we're already behind, and which is true. So rather than push this back another week or just, and continue to have movies pile up or not talk about stuff that I've seen at all, I'm here alone. Aren't you all lucky? So right here, this is going to tell you what we're talking about. We're just doing movie reviews today, man. That's it. There's so many movies since over the last 2 weeks that have come out that I have to talk about. And actually, we're going back even more than 2 weeks because while Kristen was on board, we skipped the real quick review segments. So we have a couple of little guys to talk about as well. But there are two big guys that we need to start with. And look, one of those big guys that we need to talk about is Magic Mike. And Magic Mike's Last Dance came out 2 weeks ago, and we unfortunately things happened. We didn't get to talk about it at the time. This is the third in a trilogy, a super long, drawn out trilogy, where it started with Magic Mike in 2012, featuring of course, the Channing Tatum as Mike, the male stripper, with aspirations beyond just what he does, and also Matthew McConaughey. And then that was followed up by Magic Mike XXL after the kind of surprise success of the first Magic Mike that came out in 2015. So even the sequel, the first sequel came out 8 years ago. So we Magic Mike has had some years to get some things done, and then before having his last dance, and that's where we are now with Magic Mike's Last Dance. We catch up with Magic Mike. He's having a hard time. He lost his furniture business after the pandemic, or during the pandemic, as a result of the pandemic. And he's bartending, and but as sort of like an events bartender, if you will. And he ends up doing a gig at like a benefit being held at the house of a super rich person. That super rich person, of course, being Salma Hayek. And it's it's tough times for Mike, but he gets an opportunity for one shot dance with Salma Hayek for a whole lot of money, and he takes it, and that leads one thing to another. They end up in London, and he is the director of a show, of a reimagining of a show that Salma Hayek wants him to transform from sort of a stodgy sort of 17th century British people's Jane Austen type of thing into a woman's fantasy of men dancing. And okay, so here's the thing. First of all, Steven Soderbergh. So yes, I get it. Oh, Magic Mike, what are you talking? Steven Soderbergh directed the first one and the third one, and also sort of was like the director of the second one, even though he didn't actually get the credit. He edited it and did some other things associated with it, and was there all along, but was not the actual director. The first one is a great movie, flat out. Just it might not be top 10 Soderbergh, but probably would be if I sat down and made my Steven Soderbergh list. The first Magic Mike is probably right in the 7 to 10 range. It's so good. It just really is a fantastic movie. The sequel was really good. It's like, holy crap. There no complaints, no notes, just really solid. The first two movies are all about friendship and also dreams, and it's really about people wanting something more from what they're doing right now, and also realizing, in the second one more so, realizing that sometimes they have to do something for their friends, you know, and it's really good. And then this third one comes out, and you're like, do we really need a third one? And I'm going to tell you, yes, we fucking need a third one. This is a great trilogy. It's by far the most underrated trilogy out there. I don't at me or anything like that. I don't want to hear it. It's just really fucking good trilogy. If you don't believe me, go watch these movies for yourself. I can't encourage it more, because these are really good, genuinely good movies. And the third one, the setup is bonkers. Okay. The setup of this movie is bonkers. But if you just are like, okay, this setup is ridiculous. However, I'm getting to see Channing Tatum being ridiculously charismatic, and I'm getting to see Salma Hayek just bathe in the charisma, in his charisma, in a bath of her own charisma. Like, you know, Channing Tatum is like the bubble bath of charisma in her giant tub of charisma. It's fucking amazing, and I can't begin to express how absolutely enthralling watching these two interact is. And then they get to the show, and this movie has the best of dancing of the three movies, and I don't even know that it's close. I mean, here's the thing with the first two, is that the first two are very much like, these are male strippers, and this is what we're dealing with, you know, and so that's the kind of dancing that they're doing. And not all of the dudes are great dancers. Most of them are, some of them are very good to great dancers. A couple of them are good dancers, and one of them is just a terrible flat out dancer. Tarzan guy, or whatever the guy's name is it just a fucking can't dance. He can't dance. All of the dancers in this movie are like, yeah, we're not doing that again. Just, here are some amazing dancers, and they're going to put on a great show. And guess what? They're amazing dancers, and they put on a great show. Additionally, there is one dance sequence in this movie. We'll just call it the rain dance, where Magic Mike sort of reenacts his time experiences with the Salma Hayek character during the show. And it's the hottest dancing ever put to film, period, end of story. There's no way to go about it. Like, if you are a human being and you are attracted to other human beings in any way, shape, or form, I don't care if you're attracted, you know, what your gender or identification is and what kind of gender identification you are attracted to, okay, you are going to be turned on by the rain dance scene. It's impossible. It's impossible to not be turned on by the rain dance scene. And there's something to be said for that, man. I look, yeah. So, and lastly, the last thing I want to say about the Magic Mike's Last Dance is it features heavily, actually, this isn't the last thing I want to say, but the last thing I want to say about the plot is that it features heavily narration. And that's something that Sergio talk about a lot. And it's, you know, not something that we normally endorse. In this case, it's used as a plot device where the narration, it starts with narration, and then you find out probably early in Act 2 that the narration is actually being done by Salma Hayek's daughter in the movie. And then you find out toward the end of Act 2, start of Act 3, that the narration isn't just her narrating the movie. It's her reading a book that she is in the process of writing. And it becomes just an amazing plot device. Like, and you're not going to hear me say that very often, where the narration adds to a movie. Usually it's like, oh, the narration works. This one, it absolutely adds to the movie. It's fantastic. And it's just really fucking cool the way the narration is tied in. The other thing I want to say about the movie is this is just a wonderful, very Soderbergh-y movie. Like, there are sequences, there's a montage where it's just like, oh, this they could have just lifted this straight out of one of the Ocean's movies. And this is the point I wanted to make. What I now want, after he had done an Ocean's trilogy and now he's done a Magic Mike trilogy, what I want is a crossover event. And I know Danny Ocean is supposed to be dead because he died in Ocean's 8. you can fuck with the timeline. It's okay. Just have Magic Mike, Danny Ocean universe commingle, and let's get that done. Look, Soderbergh is probably our most consistent director right now, active director. And by consistency, I mean like all of his movies, just even Kimmy last year, are quality, and he does one regularly. Like you don't have to hear, oh, he's making a movie like Scorsese and then just sit and wait for 8 years for the movie to come out. It's coming out next year, and then he's going to make another one, and it's going to come out the year after that, and then there's going to be another one that might out the end of that year, or it'll at least come out the year after that. So Soderbergh, a fantastic director. Let's just get an Oceans and Oceans and Oceans and Magic Mike crossover. My rating specifically for Magic Mike's Last Dance, I'm going to give it 3 tacos plus guac. The first one gets 4 tacos if we were to go back. Both of the sequels get 3 tacos plus guac. The first one is just a fantastic on-point movie, top to bottom, front and center. The other two have little issues. Some people like the second one better than the first one. I'm not one of those people. The setup on this movie is ridiculous, but the dancing is more than makes up for it. So we're going 3 tacos plus guac. That's where we are with that one. The next movie I have to talk about is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It came out this past weekend. I went and saw it in IMAX 3D. People, go to theaters and support your local theaters. Go to theaters and support Hollywood. And most of all, go to theaters and see movies in big formats and 3D. Why? Because I want more movies in IMAX and 3D. That's it. This is a personal plea from me. I want more of 3D. Please support 3D. Anyway, the movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp, it's been getting really bad reviews. I'm just, spoiler alert, I don't know why. I really liked this movie. The tone is definitely different from the first 2 Ant-Man movies. Michael Pena is not in this one at all. If Michael Pena is your favorite character from the Ant-Man movies, and if you just go in and if I don't see Michael Pena rattle off a plot story, for 2 minutes, I'm just going to automatically deduct 2 stars. That's cool. I'm not going to do that. All right. I am not going to do that. I love Michael Pena, and I hope they do a spinoff show or something for him. I would have liked to have seen him, but we didn't. And that's okay. He wasn't part of this story. They spend the entire movie, not the entire movie, but if the movie's 2 hours long, they spend 110 minutes in the quantum realm. So there's no reason for Michael Pena to pop into the quantum realm. Sorry. But who we do get a lot of is John Majors as Kang. And let me tell you, if Kang was introduced Kang was introduced in the Loki television show that was on Disney Plus, and he shows up. This is his introduction to the MCU movies, and he plays a different variant from the one that you see in Loki. He plays one of just to explain what happened in Loki, and then Kang explains that he's had a whole bunch of variants. Some of them fucked up with the timeline. He's going to try to prevent that from continuing to happen, but maybe not in a good way. This is Kang is one of the variants that has been exiled, and in Ant-Man and the Wasp has been exiled to the quantum realm so that he can't fuck up the timelines any more than he already has. And he's amazing. Look, Jonathan Majors is an amazing actor. Okay. And to see him just absolutely chew up every single second of screen time he has in Ant-Man and the Wasp makes me want a Secret Wars movie like tomorrow. I know we're going to get one in 3 years, 2 to 3 years. I don't want to wait anymore. I just want it. I just want the freaking Secret Wars movie, because that means I know I'm getting a lot of Jonathan Majors, because Kang is along with Doom, is one of the 2 sort of architects drivers, catalysts. I don't know how you want to consider it, but he's one of the dudes that's responsible for the whole Secret Wars happening. And goddamn. And I'll tell you right now, the biggest problem that this movie creates for the MCU is that Jonathan Majors is just an absolutely compelling villain, and he's going to have to work with Doom whenever they bring in the Fantastic Four, not next year, I think, but the year after that. Anyway, whenever the Fantastic Four is brought into the fold, they're going to have to bring Doom into the fold. And whoever they get to play Doom is going to have to act with Jonathan Majors. That's a problem because he's so fucking good. He's going to just destroy anybody on screen. But you can't have Doom play second fiddle to Kang. They have to be equally horrible and evil and bad. And I don't know how you accomplish that. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing how they do it. But that's the biggest problem. Look, this movie, it's a really good comic book movie, and that's all there is to it. This movie is super, super comic booky. It absolutely does function as a standalone within the Ant-Man trilogy. But and so within that, I think it's successful in telling its story. But the way it's even more successful, and really, what this movie needed to do was introduce Kang to the moviegoers and people who might not have watched Loki. It does that, and it does that in spades, and it does that amazingly. I don't get the hate. I think this movie has a really bad Rotten Tomato score. It's in the 50s. I don't get it. Okay, so maybe some superhero fatigue, but then maybe you shouldn't be reviewing the movie if you're just going to be bitching about it because it didn't have Michael Pena or because whatever you might think. Because it wasn't as funny as you had come to know Ant-Man movies. I don't know. I get it if your stance is, well, I don't get it. The multiverse is a tough thing for me to understand. But did you really not understand? Did this movie not do a good job of introducing you to what the multiverse was? I thought it did a pretty good job of it, but maybe I'm biased. Maybe I just, know a little too much about it. And so having a little more information isn't fair to other folks. And I'll own that. And I'll say, okay, that's the problem. I just know too much, about the multiverse. But at the same time, I mean, come on, guys, this is where it's going. And let's get on board. There are two post-trailer scenes in this movie, and holy shit, they're both great. One of them, hey, Loki shows up. Hashtag spoiler alert, Loki's showing up. If you love Loki, just go see this movie then and stay for the very final end credit stinger. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about. Look, just go see it. I don't know what to tell you other than go see it. It's a Four Taco movie. People should be going to see Four Taco movies in the theater. Anytime Sergio or I give a movie 3 tacos or better, that's us saying, run, don't walk to the movie theater. There's no worries. You're going to have a good time at the very least. And maybe you might actually walk away loving a movie. So this one's getting 4 tacos. Now, on to our real quick reviews. Our first real quick review is Jung-E. This came out 3 weeks ago, I'm going to say, on Netflix. It's still available on Netflix. It's a South Korean sci-fi movie about a crumbling society that is trying really hard to repel a rebellion from one of the outer space colonies that was set up after Earth could no longer sustain life, and they're on the precipice of winning the war, except that their best soldier has died, and they need to find a way to keep her alive. This movie has an interesting premise, and then just really tries to not be the premise, but rather be insightful or something. And this movie's definitely better served if they had just been like, hey, we're going to do some crazy, awesome crazy awesome special effects and stuff. Like it has a bit of what's the Tom Cruise movie? I just watched it yesterday. Shit. I can't Sergio would remember. Damn it, Sergio, why aren't you here right now? It's not The Day After Tomorrow. Anyway, the whole movie I'm talking about with Emily Blunt, the Tom Cruise movie with Emily Blunt, it has some vibes of that. It has some. It's got a little, just be an action movie, man. We don't need. Like, this movie just didn't need to dive into weird like ethics questions and stuff. Just be a cool movie with clones, people cloning people, and maybe a little bit of ethics, but it went too heavy. Also, there's a dude in this movie that is kind of like the boss of the program. Worst character in a movie ever. Like just not a interesting character, just a horrible character. And he's such a terrible character that that you just really everything about the character, nothing works, and he plays way too big of a role, and it's not good. This movie is a classic 2 tacos plus guac. I'm going 2 tacos. This movie was a 2 taco movie. I can't give it guac. I really loved like the first 15 minutes, and then everything after it, I just was like, I just want the first 15 minutes back. And if you just are spending the whole movie wishing that the first 15 minutes were back, that you're a 2 taco movie. I'm sorry, Zhang Yi. Bravo for your attempt. It didn't work for me. Next up, speaking of things that don't necessarily work for me, real quick for you. Also, again on Netflix, we have Your Place or Mine, the most recent romantic comedy starring Reese Witherspoon. Oh my god, I love Reese Witherspoon. Ashton Kutcher. Oh my god, I love Ashton Kutcher. This movie is gonna be great. Okay, so another spoiler, just jumping to the end. I didn't love this movie. And if anybody says, "Oh, I love this movie," I'm going to question that. I'm going to say, "Did you really love this movie?" Because there's not a Okay. This movie isn't terrible. Okay? So if you're just sitting down to watch a movie and you're just like, "You know what? I just want something that's not terrible." All right. I'll Your Place or Mine. That's fine. If you just want to watch something that's total mid and doesn't try to do anything crazy, wacky, or insane, this is the one to go to. But if you're looking for something that will save romantic comedies forever and ever, and bring us a new romantic comedy duo on par with Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, this one's not going to be that one. I'm sorry, kids. It just doesn't work that well. Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher play friends who started out not as friends, but then realized, Ashton Kutcher realized I don't do good with relationships, so I'm just going to end it, and we'll stay friends anyway. How they stay friends anyway, in spite of the fact that they live across the continent, whatever, that's fine. But apparently she talks to him every single day, in spite of the fact that she eventually gets married with somebody else, and has a kid. And You've Got Mail worked, even though Tom Cruise and Meg Ryan shared almost no screen time, because Tom Cruise and Meg Ryan. Similarly, Sleepless in Seattle worked, even though Tom Cruise and Meg Ryan spent almost, or not Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. You Got Mail, or Sleepless in Seattle works because Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. God, I'm having a bad night with names. So they spend almost no screen time together, but they spend way too much time talking to each other. I'm just gonna be there's just no reason. Like, if you're not going to be together and trying to build up chemistry, it's weird, but it doesn't suck. It's just you sit there and accept that it's a little weird, and you're just like, all right, I accept the weirdness. Um, and you get 2 tacos plus guac, and this one does get the 2 tacos plus guac. I did give this one some thought. And I'm only giving it the guac because I do want more romantic comedies, even if they're horrible. But that's all right. Normally, if Sergio had been here, that would be the last movie. But because Sergio's not here, I have time and I have control. So I did one more movie. I'm going to do one more movie. So bonus review: Shotgun Wedding. Shotgun Wedding stars Jennifer Lopez and a dude I've never heard of before. And not only have I never heard of before, you could tell me his name and I would say, oh, okay, I have no idea who that is. And not only would I have no idea who that is, you could tell me the movies that he's been in, and I'd probably be like, oh, I have no idea what those movies are. I'm going to look this up. Actually, while we're doing this right now, I'm going to look him up live. Okay, he was in Transformers, apparently. He was in a movie called Safe Haven, never heard of it. A movie called Turistas, which I've never heard of. The Callisto, which I've never heard of. Blackout, which I've never heard of. Bandit, which I've never heard of. So yeah, literally a guy that I have never heard of before. Is Jennifer Lopez's love interest, but it also has Jennifer Coolidge in it. Stifler's mom. So that's cool. It has Lenny Kravitz in an interesting turn. And it has Cheech Marin. So the supporting cast is like, oh, that's really solid. Now, I saw the trailer for this. I was like, this movie, no. Like, who's asking for this? Who's asking for Jennifer Lopez to star with a guy I've never heard of before in my life and I've never seen before in my life, and put it on Amazon Prime and be like, hey, here's a movie for you. Nobody. But guess what? This movie doesn't suck. And I genuinely, like, I went in with the movie and it started with 1 star. Normally when I go into a movie, I start with 3 stars and then like make subtle adjustments as the movie goes along. This movie, I went in and it was 1 star. And then I started laughing at the right points, and it didn't like try too hard for jokes. There were moments where it tried too hard for jokes, but overall I was just like, oh, okay. I'm not hating myself for watching this movie. And for what it accomplished in making me not hate myself for watching this movie, I'm gonna go ahead and give it 2 tacos plus guac. I'm telling you, if you gun to my head, Shotgun Wedding or Your Place or Mine, which one are you going to rewatch again? I would first say, please, I don't really want to watch either of those movies again. But gun to my head, pick one. I'm going to say Shotgun Wedding. And I'm not even thinking very long or hard about it. Your Place or Mine is the more charming movie and is the one that, but Shotgun Wedding is just the right amount of ridiculousness and the right amount of ridiculous funniness that I would rather watch Shotgun Wedding again. But hey, that's it. That's all I got, kids. 30 minutes of movie reviews, I think, for one person is probably way more than enough. So we're going to cut this one off. I want to thank everybody for showing up. I know that nobody actually showed up live, but that's okay. I still love you. Hopefully you'll all catch it on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. That's all we can ask from you. Please, just keep us in your in your subscriptions. It doesn't cost you a penny, but it helps us, with algorithms and stuff. So yeah, just give us a like and give us a subscription. And I'll end it the way Sergio does. Remember, you're awesome, you're amazing, and the world's a better place because you are in it. Thank you, everybody, for joining me for some real talk reviews. Go to the movies, kids. Thanks. Bye.